And I want to thank the local disaster management group for the work that it's done. I think it's an incredibly important part of our organisation, how we connect with all parts of services that come together during disasters, during crisis within our community, and that we can actually work very quickly with other levels of government, our community, and be able to deal with the pandemic. I want to take this opportunity, obviously, to thank that group for the work that it's done. Even leading into this pandemic, it did tremendous work last year with the fires and a whole range of other issues that we've had, and it probably hasn't had much of a rest in that period of time. So I want to thank every member of that group for the work that it's done, the Mayor for the way that you've led that group. Congratulations. I think our community has been well served. The focus, obviously, with this pandemic has been on the safety and well-being of our community. I think we've been able to see that our community has responded well in being able to take directions from all different levels of government and being able to understand that it needs to play its role in being able to manage the safety and well-being within our community. In all of that, we have to also be mindful of the impacts on our community, on individuals, families, in particular with their financial situations, relationships that we have that are under stress, the mental health issues that come out of this, especially when we understand the challenges that we all have in terms of the uncertainty of employment, uncertainty of how we can cope with the pressures of everyday life. And we are and have been as a community incredibly impacted because of the fact that we are so much committed to our lives, being able to move ahead, our children, and with all of that, the pressures of, in most cases, every member of the family having to work to be able to get ahead in life. And of course, when we have a situation like this, and that changes dramatically, that impact on our individuals and our families is quite significant. And also our business community. I don't think I've ever seen, having been in business, and I know a number of other councillors have, and talking to the business community, that we've ever been challenged as much as this. The fallout might be that there'll be significant businesses that won't be able to reopen. And I think we'll see a different landscape when we emerge out of this crisis. And as I said, I believe the community has played its part in working towards trying to solve the current problems that we've got at the moment. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the frontline workers because they've made an amazing contribution, putting themselves right at their front line. I'm incredibly encouraged by the councillors, the new councillors and the work and their commitment towards becoming a much more compassionate and caring council. And I think I'm encouraged by their comments that they've made, Mr. Mayor, that they want this council to be able to engage with our community in a different way, and especially under the COVID-19 pandemic, that we actually emerge as being a council that does show more compassion and is much more caring. And I hope that that's long-lasting, not just for the sake of us dealing with the pandemic as it is at the moment. As we move out of these restrictions and eventually back to some sort of normality, there are hopes and aspirations that I have, and I hope that everybody in our community has, and I hope that we have a much more connected community than we had in the past, that we had this time to reflect and understand that we've given this opportunity to sit back now, even though it's a disaster, but it is also an opportunity for us as a community to be able to understand that we can possibly take a different direction as we emerge out of this, that we can be a much more caring community, and that we'll be a community which will support our local businesses. Nothing like we've done before. We go out of our normal habits to make sure that we actually support local businesses, that we make a difference and know that every bit of support that we give these businesses will give them that opportunity to get back on their feet and actually make a strong contribution to our economy. So if we can take any positives from this disaster, Mr. Mayor, we as individuals and as a community as a whole need to reach out to our neighbours and to those less fortunate, to those that are struggling with this current pandemic crisis, struggling to cope, and that we can emerge out of this as a much better community in the end. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Extremely excited about taking on the role of outstanding organisation as part of the portfolio, and in conjunction with Councillor Hungerford, we've already discussed that we would like to work together as a team rather than individually working on different parts of the portfolio. I know Councillor Hungerford has a strong interest in finance, but I have a strong interest in all of the different portfolios, and I think as councillors we come from our communities, we all have an interest in a whole range of things within the organisation. We, I suppose, have a portfolio that may not be as sexy as some of the other portfolios and may be seen as much more structured, but I think it's an opportunity for us, both Councillor Hungerford and myself, to be able to make it exciting and make it a portfolio that will actually set the bar extremely high for an organisation to achieve. In both being an outstanding organisation gives us the opportunity to make it extremely outstanding in everything that we do. It's an important portfolio because it sets all the structures in terms of what local government is about. It meets all the statutory obligations that we have as an organisation, and placing both portfolio councillors on the audit committee is an important part of our role as well. And that functionality in terms of both setting the framework and the direction and in reviewing that as well is an important part of that whole process. So I welcome the opportunity to be involved in that. The corporate plan is, to me, probably one of the more important documents. It sets the real direction in terms of where the organisation needs to go. And it's an important document, especially at the beginning of the council's term, because as we know, we have a number of new councillors that have made their mark in terms of coming into this organisation. We have councillors that have served for a number of terms, as Councillor Hungerford said. And the aspirations of those who have been elected may differ, but it's important to bring all that together in a document that reflects what our community wants and a direction that we can set as different to previous councils. So that is our document that we own in terms of our direction and the way that we reflect in terms of the way that we react within our community. So I'm excited about having this portfolio, Mr. Mayor. As I've said to councillors, that you will get 110% from me and my commitment to making my position in this role as effective as possible within the organisation, but it's open door with all of the councillors at any time that want to come and raise any issue with me. I work and collaboratively with Councillor Hungerford on that matter as well. Thank you.